In today's video we get the chassis rails mocked into place and then start welding them into the car, adding all the reinforcing for the front chassis rails there. We get the top of the strut tower from the Forester and bring that over to the Brumby here so we can run the late model struts, and we decide on what we're doing with the front of the vehicle, the front of the chassis rail, in terms of the radiator and such. So thank you for deciding to watch a video or another video. Car's come along pretty well. Right, so all that bracing is in now. A bit extra bracing here and here for these supports here. Still not finished. It's got to be something done about this as well. But all that's done. So that one on first and is welded to the chassis rail, and then that's just on there. So it's pretty good. And then this side it's done as well. Okay, so this is the inside. So there's two brackets in there, because there's that wall that ran in here, so it's just going to add a bit more strength than just doing one, or just having the one plate over the top. And these are the rest of the bits. So pretty. Oh, that's why it doesn't fit. Pretty straightforward. They're going to go there, and then that one goes across like that, and then they'll all get welded in. And once they're on, start working on this side. Take this bracket off and take this brake line holder off. It's just in the way, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll come out, and then I'll get to the fun part, which I'm looking forward to, which is putting the lower control arms in after the EJ struts too, and then I can put the lower control arms in, find out where this mounting point is going to be. Not too sure how that's going to work yet. Yeah, gonna do the EJ struts first. The other side is done now, so they're both fully plated and reinforced and ready to try to look pretty. So working on the EJ strut top. Now I feel like I've done this the hardest way possible, but I'm not sure how else you're supposed to do it. So that goes in there, and then if I can hold this somehow, that almost, I couldn't see what I was doing. Okay, cool. That goes in there. So that is the strut top from the Forester. As you can see, very elegantly cut that out of there. We'll unfortunately have to do the same to this side. Unfortunate only because that wasn't much fun. The second time's always easier, right? So carve that around there for that contour change, that elevation change there. So it's going to sit a little bit lower than it is now. And there was holes. If you remember, there's like 4 holes here and 2 there. I was already welding, so I welded all those holes up, so it looks very nicer now. Here is the EJ strut tower, pretty much finished. I carved a little piece out of the side of it there, so I have to rebox that in and reinforce it and close it up. But, strut sitting in here with all the Forester running gear. This is the problem at the moment. What are we looking at? Can't see there. Can you see that? So it's not really this is what a standard radius rod plate looks like once you cut all of the shit off it. So these two holes, a couple of studs went through there, that's for the... So I'm going to get a piece of this 1.9 here and cover it pretty much from where I can get a socket in there to somewhere back here. I don't know why that hole's there, but somewhere back here. And sheet all that, couple spot welds along here, stitch the rest of it up, just to try to make this a bit stronger, box it in, add a heap of strength, so then I can use a bit of 3mm to kind of create a platform for the control arm to sit on. Pretty much what I had in mind. I'll just, when it cools down and I can mark on it, put in a couple holes there for spot welds. Just to pick up on that, just to make it extra strong. That hole there. Is for that. That's 3mm. That's 3mm there. And then reinforce with 1.9. It's just a big hole so you can get a socket through there for the bolt. Now I just have to do the same thing on this side. I'll get in here with the welder and clean up all this Swiss cheese. These holes. Get rid of that thing. That was for the aircon. Cleaned up and painted. So hang on, copyright. So fill in these holes and then start cutting that out so that will fit. And obviously we'll just mirror that side, so have the flat inside and that one out here. So trim up that corner there. Try to make it look as similar to that one as possible, just for symmetry purposes. Okay, so it's been a while. I don't remember what the last thing I recorded was. I could go back and check, or I could not. So, without knowing what I showed you last, definitely the radiator wasn't in. So, I cut the chassis rail off here because I wasn't sure what I was doing with the radiator support, and I thought I was going to use MY. This Brumby one sitting here. Anyway, I didn't end up using it, and as you can see, I was trying to make the radiator sit in more, so I cut this piece off and then realized that I couldn't because of the front of the motor, so I had to put it back in. So that cost me a bit of time, dumb little stuff up. So next time when the motor comes out again, because it has to come out again for me to paint the engine bay and stuff, that's all going to get plated and reinforced and stuff too. So as you can see, the radiator is kind of in the way of the dual headlight situation, because that wants to sit in there somewhere, and it's hitting there, and there's a whole light to go in there. So bit of issues with that, but I've got a 3D printer, so the plan is make everything work, space the headlight brackets out from the car. That's the wrong one. Space it out from the car a little bit, you know, something like that, to get it to clear the radiator. Probably have to clearance the bracket there a little bit, and then if it looks too funky, which it will, because that wants to sit, you know, that groove follows the front guard, like in this one here. So yeah, if that sticks out here, it's going to look funny. So not 100% sure, but worst case scenario is I make some of them to make it look better, because the other option is to cut the front of the car off, like the guard and the bonnet, and space it out, and that's a lot of work, and I don't trust myself to make it look really pretty, whereas this it'll be a lot easier, and hide it with the bull bar and stuff. So need to reinforce this, because I also cut that off because I wasn't going to use it, and then I was, and then I wasn't. So I cut all that off, so I have to reinforce it there and up in those corners to weld it back on properly. It's just tacked up for mock up. So that's pretty much where the radiator is going to live. It's a little bit more forward than that. So that still needs welding onto the top radiator support panel, which I've made bolt in. I'm still modifying it, I'm still making it, so I'll get another video of it in and stuff, of course. But it bolts in here, so it gets hidden behind the headlights. This ugly piece of metal is the radiator support, top radiator support bracket, the bonnet catch. So these top pieces, they aren't structural really. That's just to make it look pretty. Yes, it's to make it look pretty. So I'm just going to take all these welds that are still hot down till it looks, you know, smooth, and give it lots of paint and lots of loving. That still needs a patch in there. So what I ended up doing was grabbing the factory top radiator mounts, which are a big kind of Z. Cut part of them off, and that needs cutting, just a bit of scrap, and welding in place. This was my first this was my first one, which is why it looks like that, because I cut the top off, the top out of it, and realized in the second one that I didn't have to make all that extra work for myself, so I didn't. So that's what it looks like, and those bushes will just pop in there and it'll hold the top of the radiator, and these brackets bolt up to to what I showed you on the car before, and that centerpiece on the radiator is going to get welded under here somewhere. So you'll have 6 bolts and the top radiator support will come out, and then the radiator can come out. So a little bit convoluted because you have to take the headlights off to get to the radiator, like to take the radiator out, which probably isn't ideal, but it's a road car, not a race car. So hopefully you won't be pulling the radiator out too much, because that'd suck if you were doing that all the time. So this is the feel. It's got a bit of a fitment issue. Maybe it's just metal. I'll fix it. This one's better. Don't look too closely at it. It's not finished. So that's pretty much how these things came up. That's just with the grinder. So I'll hit it with a flapper around these edges a little bit more. Make everything, fill in these holes. Make everything look a bit prettier. Not that hole. And that's, that has to go on. Just take that twist out of it. And then that's going to be the radiator support. Done. Yes, there's a piece going up there, but it'll be fine. I'll soften the edges up a bit so you don't cut your hand open like bad. It's fine. It's fine. It's not like it's a Subaru. And you need to check the coolant often. There's not a lot of clearance down here. There's about 5mm between that big DPF exhaust shroud and the radiator fan. So we'll watch that and see how it goes. Hopefully it doesn't melt the radiator fan. Might just have to clearance the radiator fan. Clearance the DPF. Anyway. What's next? Airbox. Yeah, no, I'm not that good. Goes on the compressor. Boom, aircon. Done. Oh. Transmission mount. I've been working up here. And then get down there. Transmission's sitting on a bottle jack, so have to rectify that. Sitting on a bottle jack at the moment. Yeah, which is why the motor's leaning back so much. Which means I'll gain clearance on the DPF because I need to jack it back up a bit more level. Yeah, okay, that's better. Speaking of gearboxes, the vehicle speed sensor in the 6-speed here, pretty crucial part of getting that dash cluster to work. And the dual range 5-speed obviously doesn't have one. It's got a mechanical gear in it, so that I could run the MY dash, the mechanical dash. Probably gonna have to split the boxes apart and swap that over. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. There'll be more coming. The car is far from finished. It's a big job, but we're slowly getting there. Thank you for watching.